Welcome to Parashat Emor, where the beginning of the Parsha deals with the laws of Kohanim. God tells Moses, speak to the Kohanim, the descendants of Aaron, and tell them, Lenefesh lo yitama be'amav, they must not defile themselves by touching a dead body of a person who's not one of their close relatives. Why are Kohanim not allowed to come in contact with a dead body? In order to understand this, we first have to understand the Jewish view on life after death. In his book on Jewish mourning practices, Rabbi Tukachitsky explains this using a beautiful parable. Twin brothers, fetuses in their mother's womb, enjoyed a carefree life. Their world was dark, warm, and protected. These twins were alike in all aspects but one. One was a believer. He believed in an afterlife and a future reality that was much different from their current miniature universe. The second brother, however, was a skeptic. All he knew was the familiar world of the womb. Anything besides was just an illusion. The skeptic tried to talk some sense into his brother. He warned him, you have to be realistic, but to no avail. His naive brother insisted to believe in an extraordinary world that exists after the life in the womb, a world so immense and fantastic that it could just only transcend their wildest dreams. So the months passed, and the fatal moment arrived. Labor began. The fetuses became aware of tremendous contractions and shiftings in their little world. The freethinker recognized that this is it. His short but pleasant life was about to end. He felt the forces pressuring him to go down, and he fought against them. He knew that outside the womb, a cruel death awaited, with no protective sac and no umbilical cord and nothing to sustain him. Suddenly, he realized that his naive brother was giving in to the forces around them. His brother was sinking lower and lower. Don't give up, he cried. Where are you, my dear brother? Don't leave me here alone. His poor brother had met his cruel fate, he thought. How naive he had been with his foolish belief in a bigger, better world. Then, the skeptic felt that the uterine muscles are pushing him out too, against his will, into the abyss. He screamed out, and then, Mazel Tov, called the doctor. 2 healthy baby boys. Rav Kook once wrote that death is a false illusion. The reason why it causes impurity, by the way, not just in Kohanim, but the Kohanim have to be extra careful about it. The reason why it causes impurity is because of its deceptive nature. He says what people call death is in fact the intensification of life. Because man wallows in pettiness, he pictures this increase of life in a pained black fashion, which he calls death. The Kohanim, with their holiness, are able to rise above this falsehood. Yet, the falsehood and deception still rule over our world. So in order to overcome the illusion of death, the Kohanim have to limit their exposure to death. They have to protect themselves from those images that would impress on their souls this deceiving message. And therefore, with their purity, they could transcend and rise above and teach the Torah in a proper way to the rest of Am Yisrael, teach the proper way, the outlook on life and on life after death. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom and a happy Lag BaOmer.